All right, guys, back to work. Man, what a fantastic day. Get the bull traps off the high, squeeze some sellers after that two-legged pullback. Man, I love it when a plan comes together. Hope you guys made some money out there. Now it's back to work. We've got some more big news coming tomorrow. CPI report coming tomorrow morning. The big question now is, we got the retest of the big major highs we talked about in last night's video. Do we keep going? Do we squeeze in inflation tomorrow? Or do we get that double top reversal we talked a lot about last night on the video? So we have a lot to cover. Got plenty of trades I'm tracking for tomorrow. Got some reversals. Absolutely got some reversals. And we got some breakout trades, right? Some squeeze trades on our radar for tomorrow as well. I'm going to cover my favorite trades, as always, in the video tonight because I want to make sure you guys have a game plan to make some money on Thursday. Before we jump in, though, and get the game going tonight, make sure you subscribe that we don't miss tomorrow night's video. So make sure you subscribe. And if you like the videos, if you enjoy these lessons, do me a favor. Will you hit that like button for me? Give me a shout out. Say hi down in the comment section below. Either way, thank you so much for tuning in, supporting the channel. Enough of the intro, though, right? Let's get ready for Thursday. We got some more big news coming tomorrow. And boy, we've been on quite the little streak here these last few weeks, haven't we? Let's keep the good times rolling. Now, starting off tonight on the video, on the 60-minute time frames, I get the Nasdaq and the triple Qs, and we get the Emini and the SPY. Remember, I like to use the 60-minute time frames to give us a big picture look. That helps us plan our trades for the following day. And then later on in the video, we'll drill down to some tick charts. Tick charts will make the entry timing a lot easier. And tonight, the tick charts are really where the biggest clues are. So we'll go big picture first, and we'll drill down and talk entry tactics as we go deeper in the video. What is the bigger picture look right now? What are the 60-minute charts telling us right now? Well, we're definitely pretty bullish. We're bullish here on the S&P and the SPY. We're bullish, of course, on the Nasdaq and the triple Qs. But for the most part, right, we got that two-legged pullback we talked about in last night's video, and now we're kind of sitting right around those highs. And at this point, do we see a breakout going higher? We'll talk about that. We got to be careful trading breakouts going higher. We'll talk about why I say that and how to make some money on the breakout going higher. And one of my favorite trades here for tomorrow, we'll see if we can get it for tomorrow, is that double top reversal back down again. If you watched last night's video, you know that's kind of the next step in this process. So got some long trades, got some reversals. The big question right now, though, is we just retested that big high we talked about last night, and so we're wondering now what to do next. The tick charts, though, are probably going to give us the biggest clues here. Now, before we dive into the tick charts and go over the big clues here and kind of how that helps us make money tomorrow, let's get on the same page here for tomorrow real quickly here before we jump in and talk about entry tactics. There are three things I want you to be aware of for tomorrow. The first one, of course, is the CPI report at 8:30 Eastern time. You could easily argue that's the biggest news of the week. It might be one of the biggest news reports of the month. And also, too, keep in mind, this makes my job a little bit more difficult tonight because it's a wild card. And remember, the news itself is not the big important factor. It's how the market reacts tomorrow morning. So just be aware of that. That's a big, big variable where everyone's waiting to see what that will be tomorrow morning. Second thing, of course, is we continue to monitor the tensions in the Middle East right now after the horrific attack in Israel over the weekend. That is another kind of big wild card we have. And the third thing is that I will be out of the office the rest of the week this week. So there'll be no newsletter tomorrow night. We'll resume our newsletters on Tuesday evening. So I always hate to leave you guys hanging, but just be aware of that, right? There'll be no video newsletters until Tuesday evening of next week. So keep it in mind. CPI number tomorrow, big question mark. How will that impact the markets? We'll definitely keep monitoring the situation happening in Israel, Gaza, and the rest of the Middle East. Now, back to our charts, though. It's good to know when the news is tomorrow. It's good to know what we're looking for, but the money is made, of course. The money is made on the charts, right? Let's now go over my favorite trades here for tomorrow. Let's start with the S&P and the Nasdaq. We'll wrap things up. We'll start with the S&P and the SPY. We'll wrap things up here with the Nasdaq and the triple Qs. As I mentioned in the introduction, the 60-minute chart right now, we are pretty bullish, right? We're pretty bullish. We made that big move up we talked about last night. We got that beautiful, a little bit more than a measured move, right? That beautiful two-legged pullback, and now we're retesting that high. The big question right now is, do we keep going? right? Do we keep going up into that, 44.80 area, the underbelly of that pre-FOMC meeting range a few weeks ago? Or do we end up, speaking of range, do we end up creating some sort of range up here and rotating back and forth? I think the biggest clue right now is on the tick chart. So let's go to the tick charts here right now. Tick charts make everything easier. We trade tick charts every morning in our trade room. This is a 7,000 tick chart. If you're watching here for the first time right now, this is the 21 EMA. Keep in mind, it's one of the most important indicators we use every morning in our morning trade room. There is one very important clue right now on the 60-minute chart that pretty much tips us off to kind of where I think the best trades are going to be for tomorrow. And in a nutshell, we are a big move up basically into a trading range, right? It's a big move up into a trading range. Now, why is that a big clue? Well, two reasons why. Anytime we have a big move up, right, we have to assume that as we start going higher, it's very difficult to justify buying high up here. We have to assume that buyers are not going to want to buy after that big move up. That's pretty high up to be buying up there. Right? That's kind of what the big move tells us. The range, if you guys are taking my free trading classes right now, ranges are magnets. And so when you think about what's happening right now, right, we basically have this big move up, right, into this trading range, and the range again acts like a magnet. We have to be very careful as the market goes higher, because are buyers really going to buy that high? This is why I think reversals are a great option for us tomorrow. So this is not rocket science. There are two basic strategies or two situations I will be ready for here for tomorrow. One is the reversal, right, back down into that trading range. Ranges, if you guys watch these videos, ranges love to rotate, right? So we sell high, we buy low, we sell high. Okay, so one of the game plans is to trade that reversal. I have 3 different reversal patterns we'll talk about tonight here on the video. And of course, the second one, of course, right, is the breakout. Right, like I said, this is not that complicated. Breakout. Now, again, the breakout, we have to be a bit careful, right? Because again, we have to assume that buyers are probably going to, unless something changes, unless that CPI number comes out and the market loves it tomorrow, which certainly may happen, but we got to wait for that, right? So that's the second scenario we're getting ready for. Let's talk about the reversals, right? Because in most cases, and of course tomorrow might be different, but in most cases, we're coming back down into that trading range. Doesn't mean tomorrow will be that, but it simply means in most cases overall, we're going to end up back down into that trading range. We have a very strong run higher off of this low. So right now, if I want to sell back down into this range, I have to respect the buyers. There are 3 ways we do this. One is with what I call a crown reversal pattern. We talked a lot about this last night on the video. Inside my free trading classes, I talk about 2 specific entry triggers, entry techniques. One is called a failure, and the other is called a trap, right? You guys know this if you're taking my free classes right now. We're going to wrap both those together, and that creates a crown reversal, right? So remember, a lot of bullishness going higher here right now, so I got to be careful trying to pick a top. What I'll do is I'll let the buyers get in at these highs, right? We all agree this is not the best place to be buying, right? Much better to buy low, right, than buying high. So we assume these are rookies, these are inexperienced traders, right, buying into that high. If I can get these buyers roped in, I'd love to get them trying once, trying twice. That's your failure pattern if you guys are taking my free classes right now. And then, of course, with that lower low, we then start getting the trap. These are called crown reversals. It's a very simple pattern. It's a lower low in price and a trap high, right? It's a lower low in price and a trap high, right? It's the same pattern, right? We saw there. I'm looking for that same thing over there. That's one of my favorite reversal patterns. That's the first one here for tomorrow. Now, sometimes we don't get that beautiful crown reversal pattern. Sometimes markets run up and they get smacked right back down again. Again, it's at first glance, unless something changes tomorrow, this seems to be pretty high up to be buying right now, right? Probably not a lot of buyers up there unless that CPI number gives them a reason to be buying. So if this thing gets whacked, right? If this thing gets whacked back down again, I just simply don't want to chase it. What happens a lot of times is with these V-tops, right? What it'll do is it'll V-top and begin to grind. These are pretty easy, right? Watch, mark that trend line off that low, bring it up around the high. I call these V-top reversals, and then look left, find some swings, and you want to get in. Ideally, you want to get in off the top of that channel around a prior swing. Now, I'm keeping this pretty simple right now. This entry tactic could be a trap, like I'm showing you here. It could be a buyer failure, like back here, right, where they draw off that low, up around that high, right? See what happens? It pops down, grinds down, it pops up, and then look right here. Look how the buyers get in above the moving average, right? The buyers get in. There's a failure pattern right off of that high. So again, I'm keeping it simple here on the video right now, but that type of pattern could easily set up there as well, all right? Again, it could be a trap, a failure, any of the entry patterns you guys are learning in the free trading course, which, by the way, reminds me, if you're watching for the first time right now, you might have no idea what I'm talking about. Ranges act like magnets, traps, failures, crown reversals. Not to worry, I teach all of these pattern setups, and I have hundreds of examples of these setups, all included in our free trading classes. I'll put a link up here for you in the upper right-hand corner. Grab that link, take that free trading course. I want you to learn this strategy, because the strategy you'll learn in that short video series will teach you a stupidly simple trick we use every morning in our morning trade room to know exactly where the best winning trades are going to be that day. And most importantly, though, I'll teach you 4 of my favorite entry patterns to help you start making money on your own out there. If you're not making consistent money right now, if you're missing too many good trades, if you weren't able to make money in the scenario we saw today, hit that link up top there, take that free class. It is perfect for someone trying to make the jump into full-time trading. And also be aware too, if you can't grab that link, I'll put all the important links tonight, the free classes, the trade room the trade membership, also to my Twitter feed. I'll put that down, the link in the description of the video. I post updates throughout the day on my Twitter feed as well. So you can grab all the important links down the description. All right, guys? So again, we covered 2 of the 3, right? And don't you go anywhere. I'm going to talk about the breakout going higher. There's a couple very specific techniques we need to look for a breakout, because we have to see proof that these buyers are trying to buy more here. So we talked about the crown reversal, right? Crown reversal. We talked about the pop, right? The grind, find that trap of that high. We talked about that one. Okay, another one here is a double top reversal. Now, you could easily argue that this is a double top right here, right? You can easily argue that that is a double top reversal, and that's exactly what we talked about last night on the video 24 hours ago. What I'm looking at right now, though, is this is a very strong run up, right? Look at how they separate off the moving average, right? When markets make these really strong moves like this, they love to pull back and retest the high. All right. Like, again, this is kind of a micro version of the bigger version we saw right the last few days here. So the bottom line is, I would love to trap the buyers in and get a crown reversal, right, or a V-top reversal. But in all reality, they may pull this thing back. They may hold the underbelly or the top of that trading range. They may run this thing right back up and retest that high. Now, if they do that, who's trading up there? Well, first of all, buyers are buying the dip, right? So where do you think those buyers would take their profit? They'll probably take a good chunk of profit off at the retest of that high. Do you think smart money, do you think big money is buying that high up there? Hopefully not, right? I would imagine not, but probably a bit too high to be buying up there. Rookies, right? Rookie traders are going to buy that breakout going higher, right? That's what makes them rookies. So in this case, if we do pull back and we end up retesting this high up here, this is a great example. We saw a bunch of these today on the NASDAQ. In fact, I got a bunch of emails from you guys shorting those double tops this morning on the NASDAQ. So well done on that. But now, we're still pretty bullish. right? We're still pretty bullish here, right? This is not a bear market at this point. So I can't just pick the top. Okay, that's a rookie mistake. Picking tops and picking bottoms, you can get lucky every once in a while, but it's difficult to get lucky consistently over a long period of time. So rather than trying to pick the top on this and short the double top, what I'd rather do is see if the buyers will come in and keep it going. All right, and we'll talk about how to trade that if they keep going here in a moment. But if I start seeing these buyers struggle, right, trying once, trying twice, right? Then I can go out, I can grab my order, and I can slip it right in here and use what I call a failure pattern. This would be a 2-try failure because it's going against the overall momentum. One of my first mentors would always say, wait for the breakout traders, wait for in this case, the buyers to get in, and then think about where their stops are, right? More importantly, think about where their pain is, right? Let those buyers, right, kind of wrap that rope around their neck, and then once they get stopped out, right, these oftentimes will collapse back down again, all right? So kind of keep that in mind. Now, one of my favorite trades on these double top reversals is it'll oftentimes, again, rope the buyers in, it'll drop, and then as it goes lower, we get one of those little bull traps, right? You guys know this if you're taking my free classes right now, right? But bottom line is that double top, again, we go up, we pull back, we retest the high, trap the rookies in, right? We assume the rookies at that high, and if they keep on going, we'll talk about the game plan for that here in a moment. But again, if they struggle, we use their stops to fuel the reversal, going back down again. Love that trade. And then as we drop, remember what traps look like? It's a lower low. Remember, it's a lower low in price and a trap above that high. I have probably 50 examples of similar trades like this inside the free trading course, right? You guys are watching that right now. I'm sure many of you guys. So the bottom line is looking for that double top, trapping in, and then back down as we go. Now, what if we wound up all the way back down again, right? What if we wound up all the way back down, right? Could easily happen. Again, it's a big range here. How would you trade it? Remember, we had that two-legged pullback, right? Trapping in and back up, right? We trap in the sellers, right? On that two-legged pullback. Boy, was that a great squeeze here this afternoon. If we end up rolling all the way back down again, okay, I'm going to look for a very similar game plan. It would be a crown reversal on the initial test, right? Crown reversal, higher high in price, trap low, right? Back up, okay? Also, too, if it rolls all the way over, remember, that's a lot of bearish momentum, right? A lot of momentum. So I want to trap those bears in. Don't predict the bottom, right? Don't pick the bottom. Now, keep in mind, right? This pattern right here needs to be a lot more patient than the trade we had right here. All right. Maybe you're wondering right now, why was this a 2-try failure when this needs to be a crown reversal? Right? They're different patterns. If you watched last night's video, right, this was simply a move lower, 1, 2, and then back up again, right, on a faster time frame. It was pretty easy this afternoon. Why are these two different? Well, because we had unfinished business. We had that strong run up, that big move, so we had to assume that buyers were going to jump all over this after they got that two-legged correction or two-legged pullback we talked about, right? I can be pretty aggressive on that because we have unfinished business to retest the high. Makes sense, right? When we get those strong runs up like this, the goal is to go back and retest the high. I can be pretty aggressive on that pullback. However, when we bounce off that high and come back down to that low, now a lot of times these things will keep on going. Right? It's a different game now. Well, not a different game, still bullish overall, but now we don't have unfinished business anymore. All right? It's very, very important. So now when I retest that low now I have to respect that momentum a lot more and trap those bears in. And that's why in certain situations, I look for 2-try failures, right? Trap the bears in, and the others look for crown reversals. All right. And if this makes no sense, don't worry. I got a lot of examples of these inside the free trading course. So if we end up all the way back down again, that again, like I said, you can be aggressive on these, but remember, when you get these big, strong runs down, they're going to want to pull back and retest that low. Right? Whenever we see a strong move, you have to respect the retest of that level. So as we go lower, if we end up going lower, this is where crown reversals come in, right? If we end up popping up and retesting, now mission accomplished. I can be a lot more aggressive now on that one. This is the 2-try failure. 1, 2. All right, they're very small differences, right? A crown reversal has a bear trap, right? A 2-try failure, all it has is we trap the bears in and we buy into their stops, right? The first one is a lot more patient. It's a lot more protective, right? Because again, in that scenario, it's rolled over, right? And we assume they're going to try to retest that low. All right. Is this making sense, right? Is this a light bulb moment for you? If you would, let me know in the comment section below. Is this making sense to you on when we use certain kind of reversals and when we don't? This is a really big part, and a lot of it is momentum, right? How we use momentum as we go, all right? So remember, if we drop off the highs, buy those lows, right? So basically one big trading range. All right, I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited just talking about this right now. This should be a good day tomorrow as well. How about some breakouts going higher? Right, but some breakouts going higher. Okay, now you guys know more about the game plan going lower here right now. There's a very good chance this mark keeps going higher. We get a big news report tomorrow. It seems like for now, knock on wood, right? It seems like for now the situation in the Middle East has not spilled over too much, but you know that can change in a heartbeat overnight right now. So gotta be ready for the move going higher here. The Nasdaq, for example, on the 60-minute chart. On the NASDAQ, we had a range down here, right, in early October. We saw that breakout, that beautiful squeeze that we had out of non-farm payrolls. And if you're in my trade room or if you're taking my free classes right now, you know that whenever we see a range breakout, we oftentimes see a measured move. Right, a measured move, and so that measured move puts us, we're a little bit further here, right, to go. So the Nasdaq has a lot of bullish momentum. There's a lot of resistance coming up overhead here, especially that measured move. You can see on the S&P right now. The S&P actually has already completed that measured move. Right, we had that breakout there. That was the measured move already completed. So Nasdaq, moral story, Nasdaq may have some more space to go here. Let's grab a look now at the NQ on the tick chart. This is the same basic situation, right? We have a bullish move, not just any bullish move, a very large move. There's a big difference between a strong move and a really large move, right? A large move tells us that there better be a lot of interest up here, right? Because right now, if buyers start buying up here, they're buying pretty high. Now, again, right, the variable tomorrow is that CPI report. It's the one kind of wild card we simply don't know about right now, right? So if the CPI comes out and the market loves it, this might be seen as a deal, right? A discounted price, right? But if the CPI report comes out tomorrow morning and the market doesn't like it, this will, and again, in most cases, this will be seen as being very high. Right. In most cases, this comes back down right into that trading range, and the exact same game plan that we just talked about on the S&P can certainly be applied here to the NASDAQ, right? Of course, shorting that crown reversal, right? Shorting that V top, right? Go back and look at the S&P chart again, and the same game plan. Now, let's talk breakouts. Let's talk breakouts, right? Again, I'm perfectly open to a squeeze going higher. There are 3 scenarios that you need to understand or be aware of when it comes to a breakout going higher. First things first is to remember what happens when we see range breakouts. Whenever we see a range breakout, we love to break out and pull back. Okay? Look back here in the 60-minute chart, for example, right? There's that trading range, right? We break out, we pull back. This is very common. All right, this happens over and over and over and over again. Okay, so breakout, pullback. That's kind of the main characteristic you want to think about. So if we understand that breakout, pullback, right, there is money to make with the right setup as we go higher. Got to be careful though. There's money to make on the pullback. All right, and definitely on that breakout pullback, right, buying that bounce as well. All right, so 3 kind of different ways to trade this during that breakout pullback. All right, so remember, think about breakout pullback off top of that trading range. Now, if this thing begins squeezing, running higher, what's my concern? Remember, there's always 2 things you want to think about. How's my location and how is my momentum? Okay, you have to learn how to identify or answer how's location and how is momentum. A few moments ago, we talked about momentum and location with the S&P in that range. How is my location right now? Horrible, right? Horrible. But being a buyer way up here, We don't buy high. We buy low, right? How about momentum? Fantastic, right? We're going with momentum, a lot of momentum, right? So we have all the momentum on our side, but I don't want to buy too high right now, right? I don't want to buy too high. And if you're taking my free classes right now, you're probably nodding your head going, yes, traps, right? Traps are always the bread and butter trade whenever we don't want to buy too high, right? Traps are the money maker. Remember traps, right? It's a higher high in price and an entry right below that low. The way I teach it is it's a strong run up, a higher high in price, and a shallow pullback right below that low. Now, in a lot of cases, this breakout leg turns into a measuring leg, right? And we get a measured move up here, right? A symmetrical ABCD. Once we get that measured move, right? Once we start running into overhead resistance, we'll know more about this tomorrow morning. Once we see what that leg looks like, then we want to be careful. We don't want to buy up there. At the same time, too, ask again, if I end up all the way around these highs now, right? How's my momentum? It's great. How's location? Yeah, it's horrible. All right, it's horrible. Now, what if we flip it into a short side? What if I want to short this thing off the high? At that point now, location is great, right? It's a great location to short because I'm way high up. But momentum is the problem, right? If I want to short off the high right now, right, off that measured move high, that momentum is the problem, right? Great spot for a short. We're way high up, but horrible momentum. It's all bullish. So this is exactly where those crown reversals come in, right? We're not going to pick the top on this, but during that breakout pullback, remember the idea here, right? The idea here is a breakout pullback, all right? It's traps on the way up, right, on the squeeze going higher. And then as we get, and again, be looking for this more tomorrow, but as we start finding those measured moves, as we start running into overhead resistance now we want to trap in the inexperienced traders, trap in the people who are chasing this thing going higher and use that crown reversal to time the pullback, all right? Now, remember, crown reversals, it's a lower low in price, right? It's buyers once, buyers twice, right? And that bull trap off that high, all right? As you can see, we do a lot of work with traps, right? Traps are my favorite way to trade any liquid market, right? They work on pretty much everything. Now, as we pull back, right? As we pull back, this one's easy, right? This one's easy now. Now we run into support, right? This will feel very bearish, right? As it drops. Okay, as it pulls back, it will feel like the world is coming to an end, right? As it pulls back, it'll feel very, very bearish. And what do? We get below the moving average, we let the bears try a couple times, and we buy right into those stops, right? We wait for the pullback now. We get below the 21 EMA. We trap the bears in. I like to use the 2-try failure on these ones because oftentimes that pullback is pretty strong, and we use that failure into pullback combination that you guys are learning in the free trading classes, right? So this is the sequence. We may get one of them. We may get all of them. We may get none of them, right? I don't know what tomorrow will bring, and nobody does, right? But now we have a game plan, right? That's the key. The key is having a game plan so you have something to lean on rather than trading your emotions, right? A game plan gives you direction. So as we squeeze higher, right? Remember the key here is, remember that? Breakout pullback, right? As we squeeze higher, we're buying as low as we can. How do we do that? With bear traps. Higher high in price, trap low. Once we start running into overhead resistance, we then start looking to trap in the chasers, right? The rookie traders get that crown reversal. A double top reversal would also work too. And then as we make that move down, remember, look at that pattern. Lower low, right? That trap, right? Higher high, that trap right there. As we start pulling back to previous resistance, become support. Do we sell down there? No, right? We don't sell that, right? Because now we're nice and low. We're overall bullish, right? Hopefully, though, a lot of rookie and inexperienced and greedy traders, hopefully they do sell, right? Hopefully when they come in, right, and they get short now, we can use their stops. We can use their pain, right? And we can squeeze them and run the sucker where back up to retest that high, right? All right? Again, traps on the way up, crown reversal on the pullback, right? Remember, don't pick those tops, right? Don't pick those tops. This could easily keep on squeezing, right? So if it keeps on going, we keep on waiting. Okay, hopefully you're already in the trade off that trap. And then once we get that deep pullback, right, once it begins to feel like this market's bearish now, once that voice in your head says, oh, should I sell this? No. You want to wait for the rookies, wait for the other traders to sell it, let them get a couple times and squeeze those stops back up to retest the high. All right, guys, that's the game plan for a range breakout. Now we wait. Now we wait. We know how to sell it off the high. We know how to trade the reversal. I love the idea of the reversal, but I'm very much open-minded, open to a breakout going higher, and I get a game plan to trade that breakout going higher as well. The game plan is the key, right? We don't make predictions. Predictions are for rookies, right? We're better than that. You make predictions. You give yourself one, maybe two ways to make money. You go over different scenarios. You game plan like a professional athlete would, right? Over the different game plans. That way you're ready for anything the market throws at you. All right, guys? Game plan's ready. Now, the best way to do this is with me tomorrow morning, every morning in our trade room. We open up every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I can't think of a better way to learn this stuff than doing it with me every morning in our trade room. I'll put all the important links I mentioned earlier, our trade room links, our free classes links. I'll put all the important stuff down in the description of the YouTube video. I would definitely recommend start first with the free classes. Get your feet wet, learn the basics, principles of the strategy, learn all the terminology I'm talking about in these videos, and then you'll be ready to warmed up and you'll be ready to go here sometime soon with us in the morning trade room. If you have any questions or trouble getting into anything we talked about tonight, don't be afraid to call the office or use live chat. We're always here, all right? So please don't be a stranger. If you got questions, if you need help, Megan and I are always here to answer the call or answer live chat. So don't be a stranger on the live chat as well. Boy, what a fantastic day today. It's been a really fun last couple trading days. Let's keep the party going tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning in the trade room, 8 o'clock Eastern time with advanced members. If not, we're not coming back tomorrow night, unfortunately. Our next video newsletter here on the YouTube channel is next Tuesday. I'm going to miss you guys, but that's all right. Hopefully I'll see you sometime soon in the morning trade room. If not, we'll come back next Tuesday and we'll resume the party. We'll pick up where we left off. All right, guys, have a great rest of your evening. Be well, be nice to each other out there, and you better be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.